She was the housewife from Scranton in coal mining country. No college degree. In fact, she shunned credentials. Moved to New York in the 1930s, put a nickel in the subway, and discovered Greenwich Village and fell in love with the city's old neighborhoods. She became a savvy community activist and wrote a book published in 1961, 50 years ago this year, The Death and Life of Great American Cities, which remains a kind of a Bible for urban planning today. He was the power broker. Dapper and swaggering. He was on the swim team at Yale, had a PhD from Oxford, and single-handedly built the New York City that we know today. Its bridges and byways, tunnels and highways, Jones Beach, Shea Stadium, the United Nations building, and the towers that rose up in the era of urban renewal. Jane Jacobs and Robert Moses. When they were doing battle in New York City in the 1950s and 60s, Jane was rising up against what were clearly some pretty bad ideas, like extending Fifth Avenue through Washington Square Park. She would go there with her kids, and so I think the first lesson is don't mess with a mother with a stroller. In addition, there was typically badly implemented towers in the park, inspired by the Swiss-born architect Le Corbusier, and the Lower Manhattan Expressway. 10 lanes of elevated highway roaring down Broome Street in what we know today as Soho, some of the most wonderful and valuable urban real estate anywhere in the world. To do this, she convinced reporters that highways through cities really weren't the solution, teamed up with a soft-spoken minister whose church was going to be bulldozed, and even got some help from some influential individuals in Little Italy, if you know what I mean, whose milieu was similarly threatened. She was let's see. She was savvy as she went about this and engineered events and photo ops like this one that would make Karl Rove proud. This is a ribbon tying ceremony, not the ribbon cutting ceremony that politicians love so much with major public works projects. But she was teaching the citizens of Greenwich Village that they really could fight City Hall, that they could demand participation in the shaping of their city. And this was terribly important and terribly new. It took a lot of courage and gumption. She taught us a lot. She taught us about the value of the urban neighborhood. Her block in Greenwich Village, where she observed the sidewalk ballet, places of density and diversity and mixed use, places that are walkable and near transit. All of those principles endure in the design and planning professions to this day. But let's fast forward to today. Cities are engaged in some very important work. They're filling in their gaps, and this typically means vacant lots, industrial land, waterfronts, typically near transit nodes, so rail yards are quite common, all being redeveloped. We're seeing a great infill redevelopment. And these are hard projects to pull off. The process that's in place, the public process that's in place, while needed, has given voice to those who say, not in my backyard. The zoning regulations and codes that we have in place are too often overly restrictive. And this is important because cities, I believe, are the greenest form of human settlement that we can aspire to. They're where 80% of the nation's population lives. They're hubs of innovation in the new green economy. And they can't be preserved under glass. They are constantly changing and evolving. They need infrastructure, not bridges to nowhere or new highways or highways through cities, but rather transit like the Second Avenue subway in Manhattan. Transit that supports and expands our public transportation system in cities. And indeed, high-speed rail and inner-city rail. Now, we've seen in the Orlando-Tampa area how this model has not been successful, and in California, facing similar challenges, particularly in the built-up areas around San Francisco and the peninsula. The Northeast, however, remains an important model, and very possibly could be the success story that's will show how linking major cities can really spur economic competitiveness and synergies. Japan and France have long since figured this out. China is laying 4,000 miles of high-speed rail track at this very moment. Now, all of this requires a broader vision, regional planning. The framework that's required is to think about the country as a series of mega regions. This is something that the Lincoln Institute and America 2050 have put together. Boston to Washington is a corridor where you can find those economic synergies linked with inner-city rail. This takes the kind of navigating of the bureaucracy and the vision that Robert Moses was particularly good at. One way that this is going to play out is in the reauthorization of the transportation spending, the federal transportation spending. It's supposed to occur every 6 years, and it is upon us once again. The hope is that it can't be business as usual. A policy of fix it first and more investments in transit, it is hoped, will take the place of the system of earmarks that we've seen for major transportation projects thus far. We also face other challenges, climate change and adapting to storm surges and severe weather and sea level rise. This involves locating, in many cases relocating, our key infrastructure to places that are safe in our coastal cities, and requires similarly a system, an approach, a vision for getting this difficult job done, for figuring out how to pay for it, whether it's an infrastructure bank or a gas tax, an increase in the gas tax. Bruce Babbitt, the former governor of Arizona, has suggested that preparing for climate change in our coastal cities might be modeled on the interstate highway system, where governors had to compete and also had to work together and plan. So Jane Jacobs gave us the owner's manual for the livable city. Robert Moses had a vision for infrastructure. Maybe what our cities need today is a little bit of both. Thanks very much.